For those of you who've just logged in, it's 12:01. I'm going to give another minute or so for the rest of the participants to join us, and then I'll get the webinar started. So if you can just be patient for another minute, that would be great. Okay, it's 12:02, so I would like to get started. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Renee Phillips. I'm the Communications Administrator here at the UAA. Today, we're excited to be presenting our webinar, Customer Connection and Energy Savings Through the Distribution of Trees to Homeowners, with Kristen Bousquet from the Arbor Day Foundation. Kristen is a Program Development Manager at Arbor Day Foundation in Lincoln, Nebraska, and she joined the group in 2014 and oversees the development of the energy saving trees and community canopy programs. She holds a bachelor's degree of journalism from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln and has over 20 years of experience in business development and marketing, including project leadership. She has a strong belief and passion for the work being done through the Arbor Day Foundation and the important role that trees play in solving our global issues. Before we get started, I do have a few housekeeping things to go over. If you have any questions at all during the presentation, you should see a Zoom question box either at the top or bottom of your screen in the control panel. If you'll type your questions into the presentation into that box, Kristen will see them during the presentation and she'll respond at the end of the session. Also, the webinar is being recorded and it will be posted on our UAA website for later viewing. So if you want to see it later on the site, just make sure your membership is current and up to date in order to access that. There's also CEU available for the session, and these typically take about 4 to 6 weeks from ISA to be applied to your account. We will send that information into them. You don't need to do anything. And then last but not least, of course, I want to thank our sponsor, CNUC, because without our sponsor, we can't bring our webinars to you. So I'm going to turn the time over to Kristen, and thank you.
Thank you, Renee. I'm going to see if I can get things switched over here to the slide. And hopefully everybody is seeing those now. So thank you for joining me today. I'm happy to be talking with you about an innovative way that utilities are creating a meaningful connection with their customers while growing their urban canopy, leading to energy efficiency for their customers as well. So I will be showing a way to easily plan a private property tree giveaway, and I'll be talking about how our Arbor Day Foundation's Energy Saving Trees program provides partners with an all-inclusive platform that brings trees and technology together to automate the implementation and track the benefits of the trees for reporting impact. So for those of you who are not familiar with the Arbor Day Foundation, we are a nonprofit organization dedicated to planting trees. Our mission is to inspire people to plant, nurture, and celebrate trees, and our vision is to be the leader in creating worldwide recognition and use of trees as a solution to global issues. And we are doing the work that we do through hundreds of partners around the globe who collaborate with us to plant nearly 15 million trees each year in about 25 different countries. So trees, we all see the evidence every day of the stressors our communities are facing. We see it in the news every day, issues such as extreme air issues, water resource issues, catastrophic storms, energy consumption, personal health and well-being. And these are all critical issues that continue to accelerate. And trees are a solution and are needed now for many of these things. And now is the time for trees. We say it here at the Arbor Day Foundation every day. We're working with our partners to aggressively increase the pace in which we are working here at the Arbor Day Foundation. Canopy cover is being lost at an alarming rate around the country and around the world due to fires, insects, storms, and other weather issues and urban development that's happening. We have the opportunity to replace the trees and increase canopy cover to address big topics in the utility industry, such as energy efficiency, clean energy, carbon reductions, and peak demand. And through our newly announced Time for Trees initiative, we have set some aggressive goals due to the great need to plant trees at a much larger scale. We aim to collaborate with our partners to plant 100 million trees and inspire 5 million tree planters over the next few years by 2022. And through our Energy Saving Trees program, we're working with over 60 energy and utility companies who are all collaborating with us to meet these goals by distributing trees to their customers for the purpose of energy savings and engagement in their communities and with their customers. So the Energy Saving Trees program provides an innovative mechanism and strategy to help our partners easily implement a program focused on private property tree planting, as well as right tree, right place. The program is designed to engage and educate homeowners on the benefits of trees and planting them strategically, which I think we all have an interest in. So your daily work involves an important job of ensuring the safety and reliability of your grids and of the communities you serve. You're assessing the hazards every day, such as trees interfering with lines, and sometimes a hazard may even be an irate customer who's unhappy with your trimming and removal of trees in their area. And this program can provide a solution for these hazards through the homeowner education piece, as well as the meaningful customer connection that can happen with offering a free tree to your customers. And beyond this, also the community engagement component and the energy efficiency emphasis. So the program combines trees and technology through an interactive website component that demonstrates to the homeowner the environmental benefits that happen with the planting of their tree. Trees can provide beauty to our homes and our neighborhoods, and can also provide a great solution to the many challenges in our communities. With these private property trees, we can reduce temperatures, clean the air, filter stormwater, sequester carbon emissions, and conserve energy. The energy savings benefit is valuable to the homeowner because it leads to decreased energy bills. We start by making sure everyone understands how the strategic placement of a tree can increase their savings. Our software shows them how a tree can shade their home in the summer or block winter windbreak in the winter, both resulting in money savings for them as your customer. And then next, we remind homeowners to be cognizant of utility lines when planting their trees. Through the software I will demo in a few minutes, the homeowner is able to see utility lines, and we have the ability to show an obstruction when the homeowner is attempting to plant their tree too near the utility lines. These warnings are important because we want to be sure the trees that they are planting are going to mature and grow without interfering with the lines to cause safety and reliability issues later and have to be trimmed or cut down. So the goal is to, of course, show how trees and utility lines can coexist together in the appropriate manner. Our goal is to help people to plant trees strategically around their home, which can lead sometimes up to 20 or even 30% more in savings for them. And altogether, by being strategic about where the tree is planted, can lead to that increased savings for the homeowner. So as the homeowner specifically plants their trees to maximize their energy benefits, these strategically planted trees can now be valued at triple the return on investment of just a tree planted kind of anywhere. We look at the money invested into the tree, the care of the tree, all of those things, versus the value of the tree benefits, the air benefits, the water, the carbon benefit, and the energy benefit. And we're able to see the return of a tree go from $3 per dollar spent to upwards of $8 or more per dollar invested. And I've even seen with many of our programs that the money that they're investing in can get a return of even up to as high as $21 per dollar invested, just solely based on the benefits that are coming from that strategically placed tree. So through Energy Saving Trees, we're in our 8th year of the program with more than 70 partners who have funded trees in their communities. We just actually wrapped up our spring season, which we completed with 58 total utility partners, city partners across the country, and 34,000 trees were planted by those partners. So each and every one of those partners, of all of our partners, goes about the implementation of their program just a little bit differently. And that can be from funding source to number of trees they're offering to different tree species, of course, that fit for each different climate zone that we're working in, and then a distribution method to their audience, as well as the timeline is different and the marketing strategies are often different. So some are doing one project per year, and some of these partners are offering trees in both the spring and fall seasons for their customers. So just lots of different customizations that are happening. Through the collaboration of these 70 partners, you can see here that we planted nearly 300,000 trees over the last 8 years through the program. And it's really because of the technology behind the program that you can see here the projected impact that these trees will have, including the energy benefits, the air, the water, and the carbon benefits. So this specific infographic is an excellent example of the metrics being tracked and the benefits being talked about with each and every tree and for each project that we're working on. So again, it's the technology, it's the website and software that provides great value to our partners. The software offers a ready-to-go approach for your program, and it's powered by iTree, which is peer-reviewed, credible research in the forestry industry. I'm sure many of you are familiar with iTree. As part of the program, we will create a customized program website for you, where your customers will go to pre-reserve their tree. And this website will then track your program for you, including tree inventory management, including tracking your participants and mapping their trees. It will measure the impact of your trees for all of the projected air, water, carbon, and energy benefits. Energy saving trees has been found to be useful for tree replacement programs, has helped utilities to also meet their tree line requirements if you're a tree line member, and has related to many other goals and objectives within utility company strategies. Strategies that maybe involve carbon reduction and environmental stewardship. But the program sometimes brings multiple departments working together on the program due to just the various solutions that it can offer and what it's related to. In addition, the program is very flexible and can be custom designed to fit with your plan. So here are some of the decisions that you will be making for your individual program that you'll be thinking about. You've got decisions such as the funding amount and maybe where that funding is coming from. Maybe one department within your organization, maybe multiple departments are coming together again to fund a program. You're deciding on tree quantities. You're deciding on species offerings. Usually between 3 to 6 species are offered for each program. You're going to decide on your preferred distribution model in between mailed trees or pickup event style type distribution. You'll decide on your season, your seasonality of your program and your timeline, as well as your audience specification. Maybe it's all customers, maybe it's tree replacement customers. So there's definitely ways in which we can do different things. And then also thinking about any collaborators you might be working with in your community. So our team works with you every step of the way to help plan your program and make these decisions. One of the big decisions will be how you would like to distribute your trees once the customer has reserved them online on your website. So we've created 2 distribution models that have fit our partners' needs as they're planning their program. The direct delivery model, you kind of see an example here on the left-hand side, is a model where we're mailing the trees directly to your customer's doorstep. So with this model, we're sourcing the trees from someone in your local or kind of regional area. And this is just a really great model where we're typically sending a 1-gallon containerized tree, typically 2 to 4 feet tall, depending on species. But just a really great model for larger service areas or for an easy solution for a quick program because there is less planning and organization needed with this specific model. And we really take care of everything beyond just the kind of beginning stages of decisions as well as the marketing you would take care of, but everything else is taken care of by us. So very turnkey model with the direct delivery model. And really great trees that people seem to be really pleasantly surprised about when they receive them on their doorstep. And then on the right-hand side, you kind of see an example of the pickup event model, the trees that are being offered through that. So this is something where we're sourcing 3 or 5 gallon size trees, usually 4 to 6-ish feet tall for those trees, so a couple year older trees, of course. But with this model, you as a partner would be organizing an event for customers to come pick up their trees after reserving their trees online. So you would be hosting that event, and they're coming and checking in after they've reserved their trees online at a later date. So really just a great opportunity for face-to-face interaction with your customers, for giving larger trees again, and for volunteering within your organization as well. So we have probably 50% of our partners that are doing the direct delivery model, and the other 50% doing the local pickup. So it's a pretty even split as far as which utilities and which partners are choosing one versus the other. But when considering the cost of each model, the pricing is custom quoted at a per tree cost that includes everything involved with your program. So depending on many variables, such as like tree sizes, preferred species, where the tree is being sourced from, the software needs, and the shipping costs, the program cost can range anywhere between $40 to $45-ish per tree in the direct mail model, or probably more around like the $50 to $60 per tree range for the pickup event model. And again, that would include everything involved with the program: trees, technology, customer service, all of those things. So once the decisions have been made about the planning and implementation of your program, we've created your website at that point, and we're ready to launch your program to customers and have them come in to reserve their trees. You will then promote your program to your customers. So we will work through a marketing strategy with you. We'll decide, how you're going to be letting your customers know that these free trees are available and can be reserved online. We have a marketing toolkit that's really helpful for our partners that will provide you with many samples and templates that can be used for this, including bill inserts, flyers, door hangers, like vouchers, email templates, social media samples, press releases, all of those things. So everything at your fingertips that can be helpful to your corporate communications team to get the communications set and ready to go for customers to see. So through all the marketing you do, you'll be driving customers to go to your interactive custom website that we've built for you, and your customers will be reserving their tree there. They will see where best to plant the tree, resulting in the highest energy savings for them. And the homeowners then receive their tree through that distribution model that you choose, either direct delivery or pickup style. And then the tree is planted where the interface helps them choose the best location. So here is where I would like to show you a demo of the customer's experience on the website as they reserve their tree. Just a quick glance of that and a quick glance at the partner dashboard that is going to be something that you can also access that will provide you with all of your program data and metrics to see what's going on with your program. So here's where you see the customized landing page where customers would land. In that marketing you're doing, you're advertising the website URL that they would go to reserve their tree. And so once they get to that website URL that we've created individually for your specific program, this is where they land. They see your welcome message. They're going to see a logo for your company since you're sponsoring this program, and you would write your welcome message to be customized here. And what they're going to be asked for when they get to this page is just really their address. They plug in their address and they click start. And the next thing they see is a satellite view of their neighborhood, and they recognize their house kind of in the center of this satellite view of their neighborhood. So they're recognizing their house, and they're being asked on the left-hand side to size the box on the map to create the shape of their house. And we're asking them to do that so that we can recognize where their house and infrastructure sits, so that as they begin to plant trees on their property, we know where their house lies and how far from their house they're looking to plant that tree. So they're dragging the corners of this box to create the shape of their house that would then look like this here on the right-hand side once they've kind of completed that step. Once they've done that, they're going to see in the next step a list of the trees that you as the partner have chosen to offer in your program. So this is a list of trees that you've chosen, and then as the Arbor Day Foundation, we have gone out and we have pre-purchased and loaded into the software so that specific inventory and quantities can be managed. So we know that these trees are available. We have your names put basically on them so that they can then be ready for customers once they've reserved their tree. So they can choose any one of these species And when they do choose that, then the next thing they're going to see here is kind of a placement guide, kind of instructing them of how to watch for the best location arrows and to also be very cognizant of utility lines as they plant their tree. So once they click and select their first tree, the next thing they see is on the left-hand upper circle here, this green circle represents their tree, and they're being asked to drag and place the tree in their yard. And as they begin to do that, they drag this over and drop it anywhere on their yard, and the software is indicating for them really that best location that was going to result in the highest energy savings for their home based on the shade that the tree or the windbreak that the tree can provide. So once they drop that tree in their yard, they have a box that pops up here on the left-hand side. It's giving them lots of different information here. It's going to tell them if it's a poor, good, or ideal location for the tree. It's going to give them an estimated energy savings with that tree in that location. That energy savings, as well as the stormwater filtered, carbon sequestered, and air pollutants absorbed here, those numbers are being projected from that iTree technology. So iTree is kind of powering on the back end side to say that tree is in a specific climate zone based on the zip code they've provided. It's being planted on a specific side of the home, at a specific distance from the home, and it's taken into account also what species they have chosen, in this case, a swamp white oak. So all of those things are taken into account to estimate that energy savings estimate for them. I'm going to go back here. So one thing I'll point out, if they get too close to their home specifically with that tree, they're going to get an obstruction notice, and a little box would pop up telling them you wouldn't want to plant that tree too near their home. I mentioned earlier that we also have the capability to upload any sort of utility lines into the software, kind of running in the background. And so same thing would happen if lines were loaded, and let's say there was lines out by the street. If they brought that tree and dragged that tree too close to those lines, they would get an instruction notice similar to this, letting them know that they would not want to plant trees that close to the utility lines. So really good technology that many utility partners have taken advantage of, just because they want to make sure that trees are being planted in the right place. Next up here, you see a box that they can click on. I guess they click on this more info box, and this box changes to a little different format, as well as a little bit of a tree summary and description if they're wanting to see that. They can also click change tree species, which would take them back to the list of tree species that are being offered, and they could change to a different tree. They also have the ability to kind of move this tree around on their property, and that poor, good, or ideal gauge goes up or down. The energy savings goes up or down, moving it around. In this case, I have it in the best location that's being identified by the software for the most energy savings. Once they've chosen their location, again, it's not going to tell them that they have to plant it anywhere specific as far as energy savings, but just more of showing them where to increase that energy savings benefit. Once they choose their location for the tree, it will be mapped on kind of a map for your back-end dashboard, and then they're going through their checkout process at this point. So they're seeing a summary of their order, summary of the energy benefits for their tree. They're being asked for their name, their email address, their phone number. We can do a field here that can be there or maybe not be there, but it can be kind of a identifier of if they can move forward, you know, if you want account numbers to be listed or given, or maybe a promo code to be given, just kind of an eligibility check. And then from here, the next thing they see is the terms and conditions that's written again by you as the partner. We can customize this, you know, having them agree to specific terms and conditions written by you and your organization. Again, one last thing before they submit their order is a utility line agreement, reminding them one last time to not plant trees to interfere with utility lines or too near utility lines. And once they agree to that, the final step is just submitting their order. They click submit order up here, and they then receive a screen, which is their order confirmation, giving them their order number, letting them share this offer on social, giving them, you know, a little bit more information on the stormwater, carbon, and air pollution absorption benefits as well. And at this point, they're also then receiving an email confirmation. They provided their email address, so we will continue communication throughout the process with them. First thing that we receive is this email confirmation with their map, so that they can refer back to it when they do receive their tree to remind themselves where they were going to plant that tree. We will also send them a reminder email like the week of receiving their tree to let them know their tree's on their way. It provides them with a planting video and kind of what to expect scenario for them, so that they're familiar with what size of tree they're getting and kind of some planting instructions with it. And then we also text them the day before they're receiving their tree or picking up their tree. And then we also do a after program survey to all your participants to survey them about satisfaction. So several different touch points between your customer and us and you as far as their tree and tree experience. So I mentioned the back-end dashboard that each partner would have access to, and this is where all of your reporting and metrics and data and everything is involved. You're going to have access to your trees on a map like you see here, your orders, the demand of the species as reservations are happening. You'll be able to see how many of each species is remaining still, which species are maybe gone, so you can track, which ones maybe were the more popular species amongst your audience. Lots of different metrics that would be found here. This is just a couple of screenshots of what that dashboard looks like. You'll see, again, the species and what's left, how many trees are remaining of, like let's say there was 1,000 trees available, 499 are remaining. You'll see orders by day, the benefits based on the order, or the trees that have been ordered thus far. This is what your orders list looks like. So you'd have all your customer names, all their addresses. You could dive into each one to see where they were agreeing to plant their tree to make sure they weren't interfering with lines in the area. And then some really great reports. There's a year 20 benefits by tree report in there. There's also this benefits by tree report that provides not only the values of the air, water, carbon, and energy benefits, but actually the dollar value of those benefits at a 5, 10, 15, and 20-year kind of outlook. So you can see what those benefits are going to grow to as that tree grows and matures. To then give you a little bit of a return on investment metric. As you see here, this can be totaled up to show what was invested and what your total benefits at 20 years are going to be to kind of give you that ROI. So the innovative software is built and ready for new programs, or can be a great addition to existing tree distributions with a mechanism that will document, track, and provide data in accordance with your goals. Energy saving trees gives you a way to engage with your customers and community and demonstrate really how strategically planted trees can improve our environments while beautifying our neighborhoods. Your project will be something the community can talk positively about. And you can see here that many of our programs receive positive media attention through a lot of newspaper, TV, online, and radio coverage. So lots of things going on with the media with many of our partners that we find as we're going through each season. You also have an opportunity to gather your community partners. So many utilities have brought potential collaborators into the conversation to explore a joint coalition of tree stewards who would work together then to bring more trees to your communities. Some examples of this that we've worked with are like Duke Energy and Trees Greenville in South Carolina join forces. CenterPoint Energy in Houston and Trees for Houston come together for their program. We've also worked with PSEG in the Long Island area, and they came together with New York Relief to put on a program. The other one that I'm thinking of is NIPSCO in Indiana and Highland Community Foundations, who work together to bring a program to the Highland area. So just lots of opportunity for collaboration that can happen with this program as well. But you can see here some partnerships have gone viral with different posts that are leading to some just really great social media interactions about the free trees and about customers planting their trees with their kids and all of the great things that are happening with the trees when they receive them. And then I mentioned the email addresses that we ask for in the checkout process, and I briefly mentioned the survey that we like to send out. But as we wrap up each program, we can help with a satisfaction survey that is sent to your participants to ask about their experience, asking about the quality of the tree they received, if they planted and cared for it, if they planted it in the location that they chose in the software reservation process, and just asking them for other feedback as well. All of these things are important to us as well as you in finding out what folks thought of the program. So you can see here some feedback that we've recently received from these homeowners, just lots of pleased customers saying really great things and are excited about the opportunity to plant trees for energy savings and that their utility company is participating in this type of program. So in the end, the program has been a win for really everyone involved and shows how trees can pay us back. The homeowners your customers getting free trees, they're beautifying their home, they're saving money on their electric bills, on their energy bills. The program is an excellent way for partners such as utilities to work together with your customers and your community for positive and environmental results. And then the obvious value to the entire community of impactful environmental benefits. So if you aren't partnering with energy saving trees, but potentially see the program as a fit in your community or potentially a fit with other maybe tree programs or tree giveaways you're doing, I would love to schedule a time to chat with you. So thanks for joining me to hear about how a tree distribution can be a way of connecting with your customers while providing a new and different option for energy efficiency. And how energy saving trees can offer an easy solution to implementing a tree distribution program in your community. And at this point, I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone may have. I'm going to try and see if I can get in here to see the questions that maybe were coming through.
I do see we have one question, Kristen. I don't know if you can see it. If not, I'll read it out to you and you can answer.
Okay, I'm just getting to it. So I have a question, which is, what has been the experience to date on tree survival under these scenarios and tree sizes? And it's a really great question. We have not participated a whole lot with any auditing that has been done. We have some individual partners that have taken on some auditing of their trees, Idaho Power being one of them. We also helped in the Texas area with one of our partners to do a kind of a emailed survey audit in conjunction with a field audit of the same sample of trees. And that was a few years ago. And the results were a little bit different between email survey and field audit survey. But if I remember right, we were somewhere between the 50 and 70% survival rate based on if they planted the tree in the location they said. So of course, there's going to be folks that plant a tree maybe in a different location, maybe in the backyard instead of the front yard, or maybe even at a different address. But that was one example of what we had found. But it's definitely something that we have partners that are interested in doing and have found ways to do some of that auditing on their own. And we are happy to kind of work through that with any partners who have that interest in helping through that, helping set up auditing, or helping refer them to others that have done the same thing. I have another question here. Let's see. Is the program available to non-utility partners like landscapers or urban forest, urban canopy nonprofits? Great question, and the answer to that is yes. I didn't mention it throughout the process. I think the logo was on my first slide, but we have two brands for the program. We have the Energy Saving Trees brand, and then we also have the Community Canopy brand. And that Community Canopy brand, it was created because of that exact thing. We had some non-utility partners, some corporate partners, some nonprofits, as well as just several cities that we're working with to bring trees to their area. And so that Energy Saving Trees brand is there, or you can also participate in the program and use the Community Canopy brand. Both programs are the exact same program, just swapping out the brand name for the program, and in a way that you can then tell the story of why you're participating and calling it kind of the brand that fits with your objective. So yes, absolutely, we have other partners beyond utility companies that are participating. We just recently actually developed a way for folks to do more of a cost share model with their community for that specific reason as well. We've had some of those partners that are non-utility that have come on board asking, you know, can we have the homeowner chip in $5 or $10 for the tree so that they have a little bit of stake in the game. And so we have the ability to offer that cost share model in those cases as well. I have somebody that chimed in that is at CenterPoint. Hi, David. He said, not a question, just a comment. At CenterPoint Energy, we do this every year, and our customers love it, and it's always well received. They give away actually about 2,500 trees every year and are working with Trees for Houston. So thanks, David, for that. I love hearing that. And then I have another question. One of the questions is, can you guarantee that the tree will be well cared for and it will not become a risk tree in the future? And that is a really great question. And I know that's a topic of course, very big interest, especially in the utility industry. So there are things that we can do to try to help, I guess, push the homeowner a little to take care of the tree. We have the ability to send kind of, monthly emails to them about caring for their tree through that email address they've provided, and things like that. And so we can definitely do that to try and spur them to take care of their tree and make sure that it lives. We cannot necessarily ensure that it doesn't become a risk tree in the future. The hope is that with the education and the software component and the tree reservation side of things for the customer, that they're learning a little bit more about that and maybe more cognizant of it. And so that is our hope, that we're kind of showing them, let's not plant these too near utility lines and let's put these in a place that will result in some really great shade and benefits for the community. Let me see if I can, oh yeah, there are some more here. So I have one, you may have gone over this, how can I find out if the utility community in my area participates? So if you go to arborday.org/ESTrees, there is an area on the site, I'm not sure where it's located there, but you should be able to find it there, where you can actually put in your address and zip code to see if there's a live or active program in your area. And if there's not an active program in your area, you can put in your information to say that you would like to pursue a program in your area, would like to know when there is an active program in your area. So there is a place where you can do that on our website. Another question, do the trees come from a locally sourced nursery? And yes, the answer is yes. We try our best and understand that you as the partner would want to work with something local or regional, and so we try our best to find the most local source as far as a grower. We have, of course, kind of a process that we go through at the Arbor Day Foundation to ensure that they're kind of amongst our approved network of growers. And so, we want to make sure that they have quality stock and all of those things. So yes, we kind of go through that process. We have a kind of a network now of approved growers that we work with, but with each partner, if they have somebody specific that they want us to check into for the trees and kind of get bids from, we will be more than happy to do that as well. And then how do you overcome objections from homeowners who believe they won't see the benefit of planting trees until many years down the road, or think they won't be in the home long enough to see the benefit? Yeah, I've heard this before from partners, that they have specific audiences that have these concerns. The tree is definitely a long-term solution for energy savings, much different than a light bulb or new energy efficient appliance. So it's definitely a different mindset. We're trying to do our best in the reservation software to show what the benefits of trees can be, and while you're not necessarily going to be there maybe for the next 20 years, it still brings really great benefits to your community. But I think that some of this can also be done maybe in your marketing if there is specific neighborhoods or areas amongst your service area that you have concerns that this is kind of a mindset thing that you need to address. I think that we could also help with how we communicate the benefits of trees and why it's great to plant a tree kind of in that marketing piece that you're putting out there to let your customers know that free trees are available.
Kristen, we had a couple of comments come in on the chat. I'm going to read those out to you. Okay. Is this program available in Canada, or is it only in the U.S. at this time?
Great question. So at this point, we do not have a Canada partner on board with us, but we just did recently develop at the end of 2018 the software for use in Canada. So I am having conversations with a couple of utility companies and a few municipalities as well there in Canada who are all considering the program for use there. So the software is developed for Canada, and I'm just really excited to bring somebody on board in Canada. So if you're interested, I would love to talk to you.
Great. And then I have any utilities customized this program to specifically encourage municipalities to plant only small trees under existing power lines?
You know, that is one thing that I don't think I have seen. We've worked in a couple of areas with like right-of-way tree planting and municipalities that have interest in using the program for that, but I don't recall that we've had a partner that has specifically utilized the program for that planting smaller trees under the lines. I know that I do have some utility companies that have, when we have sourced trees for them, they have only chosen small stature trees just for that liability and risk reason. And so that is something that we have done where a utility company said, I actually love the energy savings component, but we're not necessarily interested at this point in offering large shade trees. We only want to offer smaller growing trees. So we have done that.
Okay. Yeah, we had another comment related to that. What about the energy savings benefits of the short stature trees that might be suitable for planting in proximity to overhead lines? The energy savings emphasis might not be so compelling, say, for the homeowner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, one of our partners, ComEd in the Chicago, Illinois area, is doing that same thing that you're kind of referring to there. They use this more for a tree replacement type of program. And so when they're removing a tree, they're offering a homeowner a tree through their program. Then they are contemplating actually changing brands from the Energy Saving Trees brand to the Community Canopy brand, because they are only offering small trees that could be planted under the utility lines if folks wanted to do so, if they were looking to plant another tree in the same location that something was removed. And so, yeah, you have the opportunity, if you're looking to do that, to actually maybe not focus on the energy savings piece as much as just growing the canopy and replacing the canopy in your community, and you could use the Community Canopy brand name then.
And then I saw two more pop in the question box. I don't know if you can see them. I'll read the first one to you. Can you speak on if you have rural cooperatives or rural utilities involved and how that works across larger areas with few member customers?
We do have some rural cooperatives that we work with. Not a lot, but I'd say a handful. You know, and the program can be used in a more rural area. The only stipulation, I think, within the software is the tree has to be planted within, I think it is 75 feet from the home structure that you map. And so that would be, I guess, the only downside in, you know, on large acreages and things like that. I haven't, that I recall, had a cooperative that has had any sort of concerns or issues with the software when they've participated. You know, we have a couple that have done 100 or 200 tree programs with us that are offering it to their members. So yeah, we've had that, but I can't recall really any issues on if there's, you know, been any placement issues or anything like that.
And then we had a question, is there a set of particular species that are only available, or can you do special orders for certain types?
So typically what we do is once we've kind of decided on what size of trees we're going to be sourcing based on your distribution model, what we will do is go out and seek availability for that tree size from the grower that we're planning to use in your area, or the maybe multiple growers to seek availability. And then what we will do is I will provide you a list back saying, here's what we found that's available, and then allow you to kind of narrow down what species you want us to buy for your program based on that availability list. So that's usually the best way to go about it. Sometimes we've had folks that said this is what we want to source, but sometimes we aren't always able to find those species that are available in the size of tree that we're looking to use. So usually works best if we go to the grower, get the availability, provide it to you, and then you choose your species from there.
Okay, great. Last call for questions, I guess. Okay, great. Well, all right. At this point, then, I would like to thank everyone for attending the webinar today, and thank you to Kristen as well. And then just a reminder that the CEU will take up to 4 to 6 weeks for ISA to process. If you get an email from Zoom saying, sorry, you couldn't have attended the webinar, and you did attend, we do have a list of everyone who's called in, but you can always email us at the office, and I can look into it for you. If you receive a short survey within the next hour on the webinar, we'd appreciate it if you could fill that out. And I'd like to thank CNUC for sponsoring the webinar again today. And with that, everyone, I hope you have a safe and wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Renee. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.